Hello, everybody. So, this trimester, we're going to start a topic that is reinterpretation. Basically, I call it the same idea with a different style. So, we will be having, of course, a key question that is, how can I classify the key aspects that make a character easy to recognize in order to interpret it in a different way? Our goal, that is in Spanish because that's the way it's in your final bulletin, is: el estudiante desarrollará comprensión sobre la reinterpretación en el diseño gráfico a través del estudio de un personaje, su iconografía y diversas formas de representación como herramienta para desarrollo de su pensamiento gráfico, crítico y analítico que le permita representar su entorno de diversas maneras. So basically, we're going to work reinterpreting characters into different ways. I'm going to take as an example Captain America, and this is the example I'm going to be using during the trimester. This means, of course, no one can choose that character to work in our final project, which I'm going to explain just in a minute. So, reinterpreting is having the same meaning, in this case, the same character, with a different form. So, as you see in these images, you have the same iconography, the same colors, and the same style applied into a different form, that is female form. And also we have a reinterpretation here of not only Captain America in a female form, but in a female form from another time. This leads us to think, which are the basic symbols or images that represent a character? How do you know something represents certain character? Think about any type of character: superheroes, villains, princesses. If I make you think about one symbol that represents Cinderella, which would it be? If I make you think about one symbol that represents Captain America, well, this one probably would be the shield that he uses. Okay, the vibranium shield that he uses, that is a shield with red and white stripes and a star in a blue circle, which basically represents also the American flag. So how from this little icon you represent a whole character using colors, shapes, poses, symbols, and of course the story of the character. There are different ways to modify a character and to reinterpret it. Well, we have sex, or making it a villain, or changing the time, or maybe crossing it with an urban culture, like this example. Here we are seeing a Captain America modified as steampunk Captain America. He has, well, a lot of iconography here related to steampunk, like the guns, the way the shield is transformed into a different metal, and the three-pointed hats, which are very used within the steampunk culture. Here we have Captain America reinterpreted into Chinese culture as a samurai, but he still keeps his colors and the star as a reminder of his affiliation with American culture. Here is a minimal representation of Captain America, which uses just the shield, but here the artist is making a little twist by splattering the paint as if it was blood or as if it was street art. Here is a reinterpretation as a discus throwing Captain America, which also takes us to Greece. Here's a Captain America Care Bear. It's another cross reference between Captain America and the Care Bears. Another steampunk Captain America from the Royal Army. Here you can see that the red is not completely necessary. This is actually the emblem that he uses in his arm. This is a army female version of Captain America. So this cosplayer basically decided to do a double twist, not only making a female Captain America, but also giving it a modern army look. A zombie Captain America. Here we have a Lolita Captain America. This is again a cross-reference and female reinterpretation. And this is again a minimalistic version where the shield is not used anymore, but just the shape of his mask and face. Also with the little wings that he has in the ears. which are also very iconic for this character. Now, let's have a moment to think about the final project for this third trimester. The first thing I'm gonna ask you is to start thinking about a character, which of course cannot be Captain America. Well, it's better if you choose something that has a lot of images on internet and it's very, very iconic. Characters that you think about immediately you can relate to a color, to a shape, to a specific thing. So, for example, superheroes or villains like the Hulk, Iron Man, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Disney or animated characters like Mickey, Cinderella, Jafar, Wally, Johnny Bravo, maybe even a character from Adventure Time would do. Commercial characters like Ronald McDonald or Juan Valdez. Also traditional and folk characters like Santa Claus, El Ratón Pérez, El Coco, the Green Reaper, angels, devils, La Llorona, El Moan. Traditional and any like myth character will work as well. There are some of them that are a little bit more difficult to imagine specific symbols, but if you want to challenge yourself, that would be a good idea as well. You can think about video games like Link, Super Mario, Toad, Halo characters. Also, you have Pac Man, King Kong, and well, there are plenty of them there. Historical characters, why not? Like Hitler, Marilyn Monroe, Andy Warhol, Winston Churchill, the Red Baron, Cleopatra. Think about pharaohs, think about emperors, presidents. There are plenty of historical characters which you can actually reinterpret in very funny and interesting ways. And also music or literature or other artists like Lady Gaga, Kiss, Slipknot, Katy Perry, The Beatles. Why not thinking maybe about other artists like Andy Warhol or Van Gogh or Frida Kahlo? Well, in music and arts, these ones are a little bit more difficult to get symbols from because they create their own images. So they are very changing. So this might have a lot more of thought to it. But if you're up to the challenge, I would be more than pleased to help you as well. Okay, the first part you have to do is research about your character. So you research about the story, the symbols, the colors, the clothing that it uses, the places where he is used to be, the actions, the poses that he uses to take. So it's a research that goes both in the images and, of course, in the text. We're going to make some little analysis about colors, about symbols, and how to interpret them so you can have a new vision about your own character. We're going to give it an extra side through basically reinterpreting that information into our own words. This research, of course, has to go with the specific referencing. Don't forget to reference because we don't want any plagiarism to be done in these works. As this research is going to go also image-wise and text-wise, the image part is going to go into your inspiration board. We're going to have 2 works, so this inspiration board is 1 per work. Basically, your inspiration board is going to be related to the technique that we are applying or the final outcome that we are applying to. If you are doing a minimalistic or a simplification of your character, of course, your first inspiration board is going to be about the minimalistic or simplifying the character. So you're going to have images that are related to minimizing or simplifying. Remember, these images can not only be exactly related to your character, but some other characters that you got ideas from in order to make your simplification. So, for example, if you're working on Belle from Beauty and the Beast and you saw a Batman image that works very well with the idea that you want for your simplification, that is also going to go into your inspiration board. Remember that at least the most relevant images into your inspiration board have to have a little description or have to have something else onto them so you can tell me why did you like them. By the end, I will need a critical reflection about your work. So I'm going to pose you a couple of questions about the process of working in reinterpretation and also about your own work, so you can reflect in a very critical way about which decisions you took in order to make your work. Then, of course, there's the manual part, which is the two reinterpretation works. Two reinterpretation works. The first one is a simplification or a minimalistic showing of your character, where you're going to show just the basic symbols, icons, colors that represent your character. The idea is that I can guess which character is it just through seeing the reinterpretation. And the second one is our final project, that is basically mixing 2 or 3 ways of reinterpretation, which comes from a very big list. Remember, 2 slides ago, the one where I showed you the Lolita, Captain America, and all that. Well, those are some ways. So time changing, age changing, sex changing, good or bad. Well, you have a very huge list of different options, so you can choose some of them. Okay, that as well goes with the inspiration board, of course. And there's a last thing you have to do. At the end of this term, we're going to have a presentation about your work. So you're going to pass to the front, show your work to everybody, tell us which decisions you took, who is your character, which are the main symbols, colors, what is the story about your character, why you decided to reinterpret it in those ways you did. So in that presentation, you're going to show both of your works and you're going to explain it to everybody. For the reinterpretation works, you have different options for making them. So you can make a picture, you can make a drawing, you can make a digital art. Of course, the idea is that all the time you have tryouts and you're showing me your process. This is really important. I forgot to include it here in the presentation, but you're also going to have at the end, with the research work and the inspiration boards and critical reflections, you're going to hand in the process of the tryouts. Okay, so you can make photography, you can make drawing, you can make painting. The media is completely free. You can also make collage. The important thing is that you make something very interesting and appealing to the eye. We're going to work in the format of 1/8 of cardboard or more, so you can go beyond, but you cannot go lower. Okay. If you're doing photography, minimum printing size 20 by 25 centimeters. And if you're doing any other physical media, well, it's 1/8 of cardboard. We're going to work these projects in groups from 1 to 3. I'm going to ask you some favors. First, make sure you are good working in a group. If not, please work alone. We had a lot of problems with group work during this time. So if you know you're not good working in groups, just work alone. It's going to be fine and okay. Remember, these groups that you're making, these will be the people that you will work with during all the trimester. As to dissolving groups this term, that's not gonna be possible, okay? So choose well who you are with. I'm gonna ask you to make a final activity. So in a little piece of paper, make the following activity with your group. After finishing, hand in and start thinking about your character. So think about which character should we choose, okay? And for next class, please bring some information about your character, like images, general information, story, where does it appear, maybe if you can start thinking which are the basic colors of my character, go and do it. For our activity, simple blank piece of paper, write your names and tell me who are the following characters. Okay, so there are 9 different characters. You're gonna write the name of the character and then how did you guess that character is the one. Okay guys, so I'll leave you with this activity. See you next week. Please do not forget to bring the information about your character because we'll start working straight away. See you next week. Bye bye.